And welcome back to another edition of the Blue Review, a 9:32 edition. We apologize for the late start, just some technical difficulties on our end that we got settled. How we doing, Marcus? It's been a while since we've seen you. It's been an interesting past couple of days. You know, Dodgers head out to Colorado, they get a huge win, and then lose in another terrible way. So it's been a minute since we've seen you. I want to ask how you doing.
Yeah, things are good all around. I'm sad I couldn't be here yesterday because I know we were all sky high after the big 7-run ninth inning on Tuesday night. They come back to get the improbable win over the Rockies, and then last night, obviously, a disappointing ending for the team. So definitely the highs and lows that come in the course of a Major League Baseball season. But I think for all the things that were disappointing about yesterday, there are some positives from that, but we'll get to that later. But otherwise, things are well. Good to be back.
Very good. Very good. Greg, it's great to see you this morning. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling good. We got an announcement on ESPN 710 in about 27 minutes, so I'm excited for that one. And then, look, they lost last night. Marcus said it. There was a bunch of positives. I turned it off. It's like, whatever, game over. I wasn't like angry or anything. So there are tons and tons of positives throughout that.
I like that. All right, so we'll get into those positives in just a sec, as well as just all talk and reaction about Bobby Miller's return. Buehler's, heading off into the IL. So there's a lot we can talk about. The potent offense is looking amazing. Again, a lot we're going to get into here on the Blue Review today, and I promise any questions or any, concerns you send in the chat, we will get to those as well. So stay here with us on the Blue Review. But of course, I just want to remind everyone that here at the Blue Review, we're presented by LAX, our friends at Los Angeles International Airport. On top of hooking us up with some awesome swag, these hats are so cool, by the way, I just got to say. I think Sedano was saying the other day, DeAndre was there, he's saying all the hipsters are going to be wearing this LAX hat.
You know what? I can actually see that. I can see that happening. I can see people just wandering around like Venice Beach rocking an LAX hat.
Yeah, unironically, it's like actually a pretty cool hat.
They liked LAX before it was cool. So,
yeah. There it is.
Yeah, and why is it cool? It's because they're reducing traffic, saving guest time, and just changing that travel experience for all people. So if you want to learn more, you can check it out at flylax.com/transforminglax. So speaking of just like LAX and altitude, the Dodgers, they are in Colorado. That ball is flying. Bobby Miller, Marcus, gets his first start in a couple months. He returns, and a 2-out rally is what gets him in the first inning. That home run looked like it was just going to fall at some point, but it just kept going. So what did you see from Bobby in his return, Marcus?
Yeah, it was a rough start. Rough beginning to the game for him. And, we've seen this at times from Bobby Miller this year where if he can get through the first 2 innings or so unscathed, usually you get a pretty good start out of him. The Rockies got to him. I'm of two minds about having his return be in Colorado. On the one hand, it's Colorado, and things like that fly ball that just keep going, those things tend to happen. On the other side, though, you're facing one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. And so, if anything, that's a lineup that sort of gives you a potential soft landing, and it just didn't yesterday. But, again, it's his first start back after missing an extended period of time. Let's let him sort of work back in. Obviously, for the Dodgers' sake, with Yamamoto out for a little bit of time, you would like to see him kind of ramp up a little bit quicker, but I'm not ready to make any big sweeping declarations about Bobby Miller after what I saw yesterday.
No, absolutely not. It is his first game back, and it's Coors Field. Coors Field to me is just a stupid ballpark. I think it should not exist. It is a ballpark for clowns. I hate it so much. Like they're fun games in the sense that there's balls flying all over the place, and it's got there's triples. You get a lot of action on the base paths, but it's a stupid ballpark. This happens too often for it to be a fun ballpark. Like, at what point is Colorado can even get a pitcher? Can you get a pitcher to go pitch for the Rockies? It's not possible.
I'm trying to think,
Mike Hampton.
Mike Hampton, Bill Swift, I think, might have had one or two decent years there.
John Gray had like a year or two that was kind of good. It's a dumb ballpark. That's exactly how I feel about it. And it was stupid for the Dodgers in that amazing game you were talking about on Tuesday where they went crazy in the ninth inning. That's a stupid ballpark to allow that to happen.
Right.
So no matter what. So I hated the fact that it was Bobby Miller's first start there. I get the whole thing about a soft landing spot with a bad lineup, but it's in Coors Field, and I just didn't like that. He had a chance. I mean, he had a chance to get out of it. He had 2 outs. He had and just couldn't get out of the inning. And then he still pitched into the 7th inning. I think it was at 6 2/3, 6 1/3 that he went. So he pitched into the 7th. After that inning, he was pretty solid all the way through and was very low pitch counts. I think there was multiple innings where he went with eight pitches in and out. So I liked what I saw out of that, but I need to see a few more starts out of him, and I'd like to see him at Dodger Stadium as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, getting back closer to sea level. Where it's not a clown ballpark, something like that. So again, yesterday it could have been better, could have been a lot worse. It was just nice to see him back in because, I mean, the Dodgers need arms right now, right? They're trying to just cobble this thing together. Yamamoto is out. Now we got the Walker Buehler who's on the injured list with the hip injury, which here's the thing. It's very convenient. I mean, I know he took that line drive off the hip, and so I'm sure there probably is something there. But also, we were texting about the quotes he had about just trying to take a reset a little bit. So it sort of works hand in hand, right? That he has whatever this hip contusion thing is, right about the time that he's still trying to figure out some mechanical things as well. So I think everything sort of comes together. But in the meantime, they need arms. They need to find a way to eat some innings right now.
Yeah, so we haven't gotten to talk too much. Sorry, Parker. We haven't gotten to talk too much about Walker Buehler since his last outing. And I mean, if you remember his outing before the last, Dave Robertson, like the 5th inning came out, or it was like the 4th or 5th inning, just came out randomly, and Walker was yelling at him like, "Go back, get out of here, get out of here." So they were seeing something was wrong with it just in his mechanics, and just wanted, or there was something that was going on with him. This hip contusion is not a hip contusion. He is not pitching well, and he's getting blasted and getting hit around the ballpark, and he's just not throwing good stuff. So it goes back to what we've been saying since the beginning, or at least I forgot where you were on it. I don't think he's going to be that guy ever again, is because of the sticky stuff. We were talking about it with either, I don't remember, Parker, was it Jeff or was it Matt, that I went back and looked. It happened with the sticky stuff, got banned in Marcus in 2021 around June through August, somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. And ever since that, his numbers have just dropped, or I guess skyrocketed. They went the other way. He went from having like a 2 ERA to a 4.5 ERA, and that's just who he is now. He's a guy that just never was able to get over not being able to use sticky stuff. It was legal. He could do it. But then when they took it away, he's not the same guy anymore. So I don't know what's going on with him, but he definitely needs to be down in AAA and maybe AA, and just trying to figure out his mechanics and figure out who he is if he's going to want to come back up.
And I think we sort of talked about it. We saw that during the rehab starts, right? We kept kind of checking in on the rehab starts, and let's be honest, none of them were good. The results were generally bad consistently. We kept hoping that at some point something would click. It never had. And I'm kind of with you. Like, at this point, I don't think he's going to be that guy he was before the most recent surgery. I'm still holding out hope that he can somehow remake himself and become a different kind of pitcher and a more consistent, successful pitcher. But I think at this point, the arrow is pointing toward, if he does do that, it may not be in a Dodger uniform.
Right.
Ooh, big take here from Marcus Grant. Yeah, the key point of Doc's quote was just like, sure, the hip inflammation, but then that last part. We're going to allow him to work through a few things regarding his pitching. So that's what's really going on here, is they're going to go take him back to the lab and see if they can, like you said, Greg, reshape him, turn him into maybe a new pitcher. And hopefully for the Dodgers' sake, he can, because Dodgers, like they keep saying all season, they're all about October and having everybody ready for October. So that's going to be the case here with Walker, and we'll continue to follow along. But unfortunately, as of right now, he's so cooked, he's deep fried, like you would say, Greg.
That's right. He is definitely cooked.
It's been tough. But the positives, I want to get into those because there actually are a lot of them. These last 15 games, I mean, really, the offense, unfortunately, we lost Mookie, one of the best leadoff hitters in the game. You gain another leadoff hitter who is probably the best leadoff hitter in the game, in Shohei. So just looking at some numbers in the last 15 games, guys, you can look at Shohei hitting 302, 19 hits, which is just ridiculous. I think he has 14 RBIs in those stretch as well. And then you have guys like on the bottom of the lineup in Hayward hitting 300 in the last 15 games with 12 RBIs. Marcus, I'll start with you. Just like this offense has been so good, can they carry this Dodgers? They have a 9-game lead, but can they continue to carry?
I think they can, and maybe this is me being overly optimistic, right? The Greg the Sunshine and the blue skies are back again for me. But Hayward is swinging a good bat, right? I mean, he's generating power. Obviously, the grand slam a couple of nights ago, maybe the big example of that. But the slug has been really good from him. Kike Hernandez starting to kind of come alive again. Chris Taylor, look, I'm gonna put a big old fat asterisk next to this. In his last 5 games, 3 for 12. Yeah, I know that doesn't sound great, but considering where he was coming from, it's something. I know Gavin Lux, the numbers, the average or whatever doesn't look spectacular, but he's squaring it up a little bit. So you're starting to see some signs of life from the bottom part of the order. And, I said on here a few days ago that I didn't love the idea of Shohei hitting first because, he's a big swing and miss guy, and he's really going out of his way generally to make me look silly. And I'm fine with that. Like, I'm okay with that. If he's gonna be lights out and I, look like a dummy, I will wear that. That's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the line at the bottom of the line is pitching really or hitting very, very well. Miguel Rojas has been fantastic for this team so far. That's a guy that's been kind of hitting down there. I love that stat. Do you see the stat that they're 21-0 when he gets a hit? And he came in last night. I was like, oh, if he gets a hit, they're coming back to win this. If he gets the hit, they're coming back to win.
Well, he got a hit on Tuesday night. They were down. They're still down. 4 or 5 runs, right?
First hit in the 9th inning. Yeah.
And it's like I think they even on Sportsnet flashed the stat that they were undefeated when he gets a hit, and it's like, this is really in danger now, and somehow they pull it out. So yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, that was cool. And then when he came out to pinch hit, I was like, you either get a hit and we win, or don't get a hit, because I need the streak to stay alive.
Exactly.
Yeah. The small victories, there is an L, but at least we got that.
Yeah, when you're talking about Chris Taylor too, like, yes, he is still a problem. He's still a mess, but of those 3 hits, one is a home run and one is a triple. Yeah. So I mean, he's starting to show some power. Even last night, he had a shot that was just a nice play by the second baseman to snag a ball that was going to get to the outfield. He's starting to square up pitches a little bit more, and that's nice to see. But otherwise, I mean, Andy Paz over the last month has been amazing, and it's not just with hitting, the off speed pitches and he's getting on base at a high clip. He's walking. And he's walking pretty consistently, which is not something. He was a guy that swung at the first pitch every single time and didn't walk for what was it, like 15 games, something like that.
It was a good long while. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, and so I'm looking at it here in the last 15 days, he has 8 walks and 12 strikeouts. That's a good ratio for a guy like that. I'm very, very happy with that. He's hitting home runs. He's getting on base. It's what you need from him. I don't need the home runs. I just need him on base consistently, and he's doing just that. The fact of the matter was, he was in the cleanup spot last night.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, a Dodgers rookie hitting in the cleanup spot. I mean, deservedly so. Andy Pa has, like we keep mentioning all season, the dude's here to stay. That's huge.
Yep.
Injuries aside.
No, you're right. He's not going anywhere because he's really become an anchor in this lineup wherever they put him too, right? You talk about him hitting cleanup, but when he's hitting, near the bottom part of the lineup too, he's still providing some offense for this team, and so it's really hard to get him out of the lineup. He's giving you a good center field when he's out there as well. So, it's been great to see. Like I said, I'm feeling optimistic right now about the bottom of this lineup just generating some offense. And we keep saying it. They don't have to be spectacular. They just have to set the table. They've got to get on base so that when you get back around, to the Shoheis and Freddys and Will Smiths and those guys, that they have somebody to drive in. And right now they are doing that part of the job. So I think that's good.
Yeah, I mean, they're the reason Greg seems so smart with Shohei being the best leadoff hitter of all time. I mean, there's always somebody on base for him, and it's been great to see as a Dodgers fan, especially how this season started. But there are a couple of names, we haven't mentioned yet. We talked about Teo so much yesterday after the, remarkable comeback, and he's been doing, I think exactly what we expected. He's still hitting around that 254, 260 mark. but the RBIs are just amazing. But I wanted to get to
Is he okay,
Biggio a
by the
little
way?
bit.
Wait, do
Oh,
we know about Teoscar? Do we know if
he
Teoscar's okay?
mentioned
He
post
left the
game.
game.
He said post game that he'll be in the lineup.
Yeah, I haven't
Okay.
seen anything that suggests it's serious. So
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good,
So
'cause he
good
left
news
the
on
game.
that
Yeah.
front. Yeah. Yeah. I know we got some CT action yesterday. But on the other end, Biggio. I saw in the chat.
Going
I
negative
lost
again.
it. I think it's BC. Yeah, BC in the chat asked like, when are we gonna get to that point where it's just like, all right, Biggio, bye, DFA him. I know we just got you, but let's bring up a deserving prospect. Greg, what are you thinking? Because we've been talking about some of those prospects a lot this last couple of weeks.
Yeah, the Andre Lipsius was the guy that's doing really well in AAA, but he is mostly a first baseman that plays third base, according to Bruce Kuntz. So he does play third, and you can put Vargas there too. He was brought in as just a stopgap. We don't have Max Muncy. We don't know when Max Muncy is coming back. It's the longest abdominal. What is it? Abdominal strain, or it's a something.
It's
So
oblique,
as long
was it oblique?
Oblique strain. Yeah. So as long as that's going to take a really long time. So he's just a stopgap and somebody that was supposed to play good defense, and he did not play good defense last night, and has had a couple bobbles over there at third. So I don't see him lasting that much longer. Especially, you can't have a guy, and we talk about the bottom of the lineup so much, a guy at the bottom of the lineup that doesn't actually swing at pitches.
Right.
Like that's part of it. He's striking out looking kind of consistently, and that's frustrating. And then if you compound that with the fact that he's not playing a great defensive third baseman right now, he's just not going to last very much longer. They're going to give him a little more time, I would assume. But he was DFA'd from Toronto. He'll be DFA'd from here once they have somebody that they're ready to go with.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's sort of holding him there is just that there's nobody else that's giving you a high level on a daily basis, right? Like if Kike were playing great, it's easier to move on from Biggio. If Chris Taylor were giving you anything, it's easier to move on from Biggio. So I think what's sort of holding him at the moment is the fact that there's just nobody that seems ready to kind of take the brass ring and run with it. But I think at some point, you're right, Greg, the patience is going to sort of wear thin. We all keep saying just swing the bat, man. Like let's just swing the bat, try to put the ball in play, and see what happens from there.
Yeah, I want him to swing at every single pitch. I don't care if it's 3 feet off the plate. I want him to swing at it just to get that feeling of what it's like to actually swing the bat. He's going to ground out, and that's fine. I just want him to actually swing.
Yeah, swing the bat like those other guys, like Hayward. Take a look at some of your vets who are actually swinging the ball. Rojas, there's a reason that they've been in the league so long. So, it might be good to kind of take notes from some of those guys,
Right.
But
Too
I wanted
patient.
exactly. It's ridiculous seeing all these strikeouts while looking backwards Ks.
Yeah.
But I want to speaking of Ks, I want to get a little bit to Kershaw before we head out of here. I just want to read the chat, his final line from his rehab start with the Quakes. He went 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 walk, and only allowed 1 run on 5 Ks. So it was really good outing. They only wanted to let him go around 30 pitches, and he did 36, 26 of them for strikes. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch any of it, but just hearing the numbers, Marcus, what are you most excited for seeing Kershaw kind of get back on the mound?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see him come back and be able to work through 5 or 6 innings, ideally, when he comes back, and understanding that it's going to be a process, and we are certainly long past the days of Clayton Kershaw just being that guy who is the stopper, who's the lights out. But again, if he can add one more arm potentially to this rotation, get ready for September and October, because that's the goal, right? I mean, that's the whole point of bringing him back, is to just have somebody through the playoffs. So I think what we saw in Rancho Cucamonga was sort of a nice start. I think for him, and we said this about Walker Buehler and all these other guys, like today, I think is going to be a key day. Like, how does he feel? How is the arm feeling, a day after that start? We're not judging him on level of competition. It's high A ball, right? Like, he's just in there to get some work. So I think it's a promising first step, and I'm looking forward to what happens next.
Yep, totally with you. And I don't want to see him up with the Dodgers until mid to late July at the earliest.
Yeah.
So, he's going to come in. Look, you're coming in. He's not coming in as the number 1 starter, Clayton Kershaw, that they forced him into that role last year. He's coming in, and no matter who's in front of him, with Glasnow, Stone, because Yamamoto's on the IL, but Stone, even Paxton, these guys are going to be the 1, 2, 3, and he's going to be the fourth or fifth starter, and that's totally fine, especially down the stretch. It's just to have him kind of ramped up for that playoff run to hopefully be able to get a couple innings out of him in the playoffs and clean innings out of him in the playoffs. So I think that's all that matters. And look, whatever you get out of Clayton Kershaw, you're happy about getting him because he is Clayton Kershaw, but he's not someone we're relying on. Same with Walker Buehler. He's not being relied upon, and I think that's what's important about what they've done there. They still need to go out and get more arms. I'm not saying that they're good with what they have. If they can get 1 or 2 more good, solid starting arms, I'd feel much better. But Kershaw, I hope, will come up and be in a good space.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I mean, he's not the Kershaw of old, and that's always a hard pill to swallow. But he is still Kershaw. I don't know if you guys saw the video. I think our friends at Dodger Blue tweeted it out.
Yeah, Blake Williams had that one where he was throwing it off of the wall. Do you see that?
Yeah, that one, his warm-up kind of before the 2 outs. There was another one where all the Quakes players were just watching like their GOAT warm up on the bullpen on the side, and it was crazy to see that everyone's just like, we don't get this moment often. And when we do, we're going to take advantage of it.
The real question is, what did Kershaw buy for the clubhouse meal?
Oh, we got to find that out.
So he's like the guys like Scherzer, like these types of vets who do these sorts of things.
Oh yeah, so it's sort of an unwritten rule, right? When you're the major leaguer on rehab, especially at the lower levels, that you got to spring for the clubhouse meal. So generally speaking, like usually the guy would just buy a pizza for every single person in the clubhouse, but sometimes guys do different things. So I'm curious what he bought for that meal.
Yeah, we'll have to get to the bottom of that. Kershaw is maybe he brought his beef. The Kershaw beef. I've yet to try that, but it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. He's a Texas guy.
Yeah. He is a Texas guy.
All right. Well, we got an announcement in about 5 minutes, Parker.
Yeah, I was gonna say just that, Greg. Big announcement coming up on ESPN LA. So chat, everybody here on YouTube, stay with us. Join us on Travis and Sliwa. Big news coming up at 10 a.m. Greg, I'll let you close this out, but I just want to say on behalf of myself, Parker Pell, thank you, Marcus, and thank you, Greg. It was a great episode.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Welcome back, Marcus, and we'll do it all again tomorrow, Friday, the day before the Mandy's, by the way, tomorrow. That's an exciting thing. But we'll talk some Dodgers baseball. Thank you for being here. Be here every day from 9:30 to 9:55 on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. I know I hate saying it, but we got to do it. But big announcement coming up in just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So stick around on Travis and Sliwa. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bam, bam.